Mission 1, Talented Takeover. Welcome to Düren. This is an RE9 service from Köln, calling at all stations to Aachen Hauptbahnhof. Open the doors to commence boarding. So hey there, Drawyah here, and welcome to Dovetail Games Train Sim Mods 2. Also, welcome to the Schnellfahrstrecke Köln-Aachen line, and welcome to our first set of scenarios for the all-new German train sim routes. Today, taking control of the Talents 2, the Bombardier Talents 2, and running it on service from Düren to Aachen. So, it gives about half an hour of running today. Half an hour to try out the new train, half an hour to try out the new routes, and, well, our first look really at the first scenario that we get offered in the new platform. I mean, we have had a Talent 2 before. This is a slightly upgraded version from the original. So that was that of the... what's it called? The Rapid Transit scenario, which was the Stolberg S-Bahn. And so, yeah, I've got a basic understanding how this train works. Also, I remember that the brakes on this train are not particularly great. And so, as we start to slow down for Langenfeld, Langenfeld, there you go, Langenfeld, we'll then be able to start slowing down early enough for it before you start overshooting the platform. We'll cut back the power now, so it's going a little bit on the fast side there. We'll push the slow lines. And let's get started with our routes. So DBBR442, the Bombardier Talents 2, serves Germany on its regional routes, as well as some S-Bahn services, and comes in sets of 4. So we've got 4 carriages here, plus another 4 at the back, giving us a total of 8 carriages today. Speeding it up to 155 kilometers an hour, so push back on, or push forward on the throttle. Gives us a chance to increase our speed. We've got 8 kilometers to go and about 5 minutes or so to do it in, so yeah, as long as you're over 120 kilometers an hour, we should be doing alright for timing. Crossing over a bridge, rather grand bridge over here. As we drive, I mean, the level of detail of some of the scenery certainly is fantastic. Especially when we get towards the towns and cities, when you start passing through some of the stations. I mean, Schnellfahrstrecke is a very, very pretty bit of lineness. Köln-Aachen, you've got the 2 cathedrals near the stations. You've got miles of houses in their traditional central German style. There's a lot going on here right now. There's a lot for us to explore, so do keep an eye out as we do continue our journey. Just have a nice kind of look out to see what passes by. We're about to enter 60 now, so we'll bring back the throttle brake controller to 0. In fact, we'll put a little bit of power in since we're going uphill. 0.2% gradient, so not by much. I think we're going down now, so we'll hold back on the throttle. Potentially, if we need to, use a little bit of braking. It's quite a heavy bit of train this, so we do keep a little bit of power in. To our left, passing now by an ICE train. So that right there was an ICE3M. It's not the fastest of the intercity express trains here in Germany, but it does provide some high-speed services up and down the country. So between Köln and Aachen, it does hit its top speed of 250 kilometers an hour, which is about 160 miles per hour. So certainly much faster than we've got in the UK, which is a top speed of 125, unless you're on the southeastern route and on the Eurostar tracks, which puts up to 140 miles per hour. But 250 kilometers is about 160 mph, and so certainly the fastest routes in train sim right now. And when we do get a chance to drive it, you also get to see what things are like at high speed. I mean, if you watch my original live stream on this service, then, well, you know how much fun I had with that one, that's for sure. It's a very pleasant train to drive, and as is this. I do like Talent 2, and finally, we have a route that does it enough justice. 2 kilometers to go. We're going to start thinking about our slowdown shortly. But for now, let's push back on the throttle. Let's just keep the train going up to speed. So it's very bumpy on the track as well. Jumps around a little bit. Right, start slowing down. We'll aim for about 60 or so kilometers an hour. Push around 50 when we enter the platform. Hopefully, we'll have time to kind of slow the train down before we actually get there. Because I can see the station is slowly coming to view now on the horizon. Well, not the horizon, but just in front of us. We've got to push to the siding here because, well, we are on the main line. And so that high-speed train to pass by, we do put into the well, it's a passing loop. So we'll slow train down. We'll enter the right side tracks. We're about a minute early right now, so this is a perfect speed for us to enter at. And hopefully we'll use a bit of a indirect brake as well. Stop! I wasn't joking when I said that these trains don't have the best brakes in the world. It really does take a little while to slow down and stop. One of the cool features of the TSW on this service is that it also has the proper destination displays as well on the side. So you can see that with the RE9 to Aachen. Our stations go via Köln. All these stations that are scrolling by. And so, yeah, it's a nice little bit of a display there. It does showcase where exactly your train's going to, and where it's been as well. Departure's about 20 seconds, so we'll leave doors open for a little bit longer before we shut them down. Make sure that the indirect brake is released. Resets the train throttle brake to 0. And slowly, let's depart. Sound the horn as we are passing via a H board, which is on the side of the platform. See the trains that we are entering the main line again. Next station, Eichweiler, Hauptbahnhof. Got 4 minutes to travel to the station. 6.8 kilometers to go. So again, as long as we're above 120 kilometers an hour for this section, we should be doing alright in terms of our time of arrival. And this time, we'll try and brake a little bit earlier. And again, if we need to, we'll use the independent brake just to bring it to a halt. Some kind of bridge or somewhere we can stand by. Train pass by. Slowly back to hit our cruising attitude, sorry, our maximum speed there of 160, so we'll bring back the throttle to 0. And yeah, we'll just stick to the side of the line over here. So it's not a faster train than was Tantu, but oh, it starts to get you moving, that's for sure. At 150 kilometers an hour, it's about 90 miles per hour we're looking at right now. 90 to 100 miles per hour. We should soon be passing by an abandoned station, if I walk correctly, if my memory serves me right. If it's not here, it's after the next station we pass by the abandoned platforms. Nope, there they are. So this used to be a station at one point. Slowly, nature is now reclaiming the stations back together. You see, they are rather short platforms here, so it does go back to well, a rather long time ago. I'm not quite sure what exactly the station was, what its name is, but well, I'm sure that someone in the chat will know. Never seen it there. If not, I'll try and do a bit of research for my next video, and we'll figure out some of the history of the station, and then we can talk about that as we drive past it. But like I say, in terms of route knowledge and history, I'm not going to be so full of facts on the Bakerloo Line services, since, well, I have been on German rail, but never intercity rail, and certainly not long distance. I've only ever been on the German... Actually, I've only been on the Berlin U-Bahn and Berlin S-Bahn. Everything else, not particularly. I'll start slowing down now. Should have slowed down ready for the points there, so I came in way too fast. Okay, that could have been worse. Those points were relatively shallow, and so the chance of us derailing there was minimal. If it was the other points earlier on, our previous station, well, I certainly wouldn't want to go on that at high speed, that's for sure. This one's a lot more shallower, a lot more forgiving. Right. And in just a moment... stop. And open. So once again at one of the regional stations here en route between Cologne and Aachen. One of the stations that only the regional trains stop at. Presumably at some point in the day, or at some point there may have been an ICE train stopping here, because they have got the platform for it, number 3. But I think those are going to be like very rare. Perhaps it's like a nice event going on here or something, but for the most part, these stations are only served by the regional trains, and ICE services will go straight from Cologne to Aachen. ICE services are also every 2 hours, so they're relatively infrequent for what they are, which when I first heard about it, I was quite surprised, because you'd think that between two rather major cities you get more train services, but no. They're every 2 hours in this part of Germany, and so we sound the horns, we signal to go back to the main line. Yeah. They're infrequent, but when they're available, they are very good to speed through the two cities. Next station, Stolberg, Hauptbahnhof, also known as Rheinl. Throttle up, 120-ish kilometers an hour the speed limit is here. So, Stolberg features a freight yard, features a depot for some trains as well. So we'll look to the left hand side, we'll see if there's anything stabling right now, but at 12:30 in the afternoon, most trains will be active, most trains will be out on the line, but in terms of train services, it's a much more industrial town. This features a lot more in terms of actual freight, more than passenger trains. So a few depots over there, got a bit of a refinery going on. We've got 2 sets of platforms for the 2 different lines. In our case, quite a staggered platform as well. And just in time for another service, heading now to Köln. Well, they're only a 4-car set, not an 8-car set. Nice and slowly. And stop around here, I'd say. Doors opened. And let passengers make their changes. So we've got a few people disembarking. Nobody on the platform to really board the train here, but again, there's not really too much going on here apart from, well, places for people to work really. Got the refineries, got the factories. Got a few heading down the stairs now. But presumably, there'll be a... well, they miss our train for sure. And they'll probably miss the other train as well, given that there's not too much longer until it departs. 30 seconds. The train's departing now. We'll now close our doors. That person just about made it through the door there. Sadly for everyone else, they have now missed our train. Right, next station, Eilendorf. Speed limit down to 110 kilometers an hour, so services are now starting to slow down here. Well, actually, it's not too bad. There's another train right behind it, so perhaps the remnants of a frequent service peak train right behind a normal timetable train. As running on this section of track, you have the regional services, so you've got the intercity services, which are every 2 hours, and you have the regional services, which are around every 10-15 minutes, so these are a lot more frequent. So you get 4 to 5 trains per hour, and yeah, they're a lot more frequent, a lot more available for passengers. It's the intercity trains that are infrequent, once every 2 hours, and so those ones that you do want to try and catch, although they are relatively expensive as well. Compared to a regional ticket, an ICE ticket in Germany is pretty costly, especially if travelling long distance. But with it, you do get an express service that's, well, cuts down a lot of your journey time, that's for sure. The faster sections can hit around 300-350 kilometers an hour. So at 250 kilometers, it's going to be considered even a slow bit of track. The fastest train in the UK we've got is 140 miles per hour. That's the Southeastern HS1 route. That uses parts of the Eurostar track service. And even then, at 140 miles per hour, that's a top speed about 210 kilometers, if my memory serves me right. So still, you're going faster on this track. A little bit of independent brake since I'm a little bit fast right now. That seems alright, so I'll throttle brake again, cross the end of the platform, and slowly hold things back. That will do. I've also got to say, with Train Sim Mods 2 being so well optimised, it is nice to be able to do things in proper 60 FPS. So if you look at the top right of the screen there, I've just popped up the FPS counter, running at 59.99 to 60 FPS at the moment. And so Train Sim Mods 2 is just silky smooth and very, very fun to use. Compared to Train Sim Mod 1, where I'd average around 45 FPS, this is certainly looking much nicer. Let's think. Ooh, actually, doors open, sorry. Sorry. Just realised that we don't actually go until 12:34, so we've got a bit of time waiting here. Yeah, so optimization's certainly much better. Trains are running smoother. It sounds better. The graphics are fantastic compared to previous sim. I mean, it comes down really to the editor and what they're using in Unreal to build the routes, but I don't know, just something about this looks different. I don't know if it's the lighting, don't know if it's just models or whatever they're using, but something just really clicks with me when it comes to Train Sim Mod 2. Look, even got hot air balloons. They're not quite 250 knots Air Force proud hot air balloons, but you have got hot air balloons up there. There's just something about this routing that I like a lot. Train Sim Mod 2 may not have been a popular step forward, but it was the right step forward. Also interesting that here you've got two separate platforms. I mean, this is like an extension at some points, and I believe in real life it would be split like that, because, well, Dovetail would have no reason to leave it unconnected. I don't know. I might look at the history of the station, see if there was something here that used to be here. And no longer the case. And here it's a bit flat as well, and so perhaps this platform used to be longer. But over the years they reduced it, and yeah, that's where it is now. Got an exit point over here. You've got another exit point over here. On the other side, you've got a few exits. And presumably you can change sides, because it doesn't look like there's an underpass or anything, so you would have to... Oh no, there is. So you go down the staircase, cross to the other tracks, and then, yeah, exit here. So there is a crossover, there is an underpass. Right, 30 seconds now to departure, 35 seconds, so enough of me rambling on a bit. Let's close the doors. At this point, let's now anticipate our departure. Throttle to 0. 10 seconds. Let's get going. Right, next station, Aachen Rother Erode, our penultimate stop. So we've got this station, and then one more after. That leads us to our terminus. There's only about half an hour of service, this one. It's not a particularly long one. To be fair, when it comes to the mission lengths in Schnellfahrstrecke, it's not the longest set of scenarios, but they are relatively varied. You get some in the Talent, you get some in the ICE. It's just a case of really balancing out between the two trains. With the Bakerloo, I mean, I like the scenarios a lot, but because there's only one train in that scenario, 1972 stock, it's a lot more streamlined in terms of you start at one end, you drive to the other, you drive to the other, basically. But with this, you get a bit more variation and another train to also enjoy yourself in. Kilometers an hour, we bring back the throttle. And 1 kilometre to go, we'll hold back on the brakes, and ever so slowly start running straight to a stop. Something about these Talent 2 trains that remind me of the Class 700s, the Thameslink train in the UK. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if they're Bombardier built or who built the Class 700s, but there's just something about them that reminds me of that being the case. I don't know if it's the sounds, I don't know if it's the cab, the controls, but something is there. Perhaps it's only me. Maybe you guys are thinking that I'm going crazy, but I don't know. There's something Thameslinky about this. Right, nice and slowly. Let's bring it to the end of the platform. Doors open. Just like before, I do presume there will be a couple of moments of waiting since we're a few seconds early, plus have to wait. So let's use this time to kind of look around the platform, see what there is. Got a few passengers are exiting from the underpass here. So you've got an entry point over there. You got a lift right here, and another entry to the right. You go up the stairs, enter the platform, and then head on down to your train. So this could probably hold up to so we're currently an 8-car set. You could probably stick another 4 at the back of there, so have a full 12-car train, but I can't imagine them being too frequent, 12-car Talent 2s. Right, lock the doors, let's get going. So, next station in 1.7 kilometres, Aachen Hauptbahnhof, where this train terminates. Speed limit now at 120 kilometres an hour. But as we slowly approach the station Aachen, it will come down, so there you go, down to 100 now. In fact, we'll probably even start thinking about coasting the train now. Yeah, we'll stick it to 80. It's a kilometre, just under a kilometre and a half to our destination. Look, an RIC train. Just under a kilometre and a half to our destination, and so about 3 minutes to do it in. It's not looking too bad our time at the moment. Plenty of time to go slow, plenty of time to kind of adjust ourselves for the final stretch. 70. There's a station now, just coming into view over there. You can see the first few platforms coming into view. Oh yes, and also, can't be a German route without a rather beautiful scenic bit of view. So in this case we have a viaduct, we have nice arches, bridge crossing as we enter the platforms. Right, so slow down to 35 now. A red signal at the end of the platform for us to watch out for, and so anywhere before that we should be alright. I don't know, it also has kind of a Stadler flirt feel to it as well for me. You know, trains that are operating on the Helsinki-Kähärata line, the ring rail line, and also on the Stansted Express. Right, stop the train. Perfect. Open the doors. Let passengers disembark the train. In our case, we'll then be switching the train around, ready to start sending it back to Caen since where it terminates. And so, yeah, that brings us now to an end of our service. Like I say, I mean, if you look around the scenery here, I mean, you've got these old traditional buildings, you've got all the scenery that goes back miles away. The draw distance in this is amazing. You've got then more housing to our left. You've got the church, which is over there. There's just so much to see, so much, and even just the station building as well. The station building is beautifully done. The old station roof, or the metal... I think that's iron, yeah, there's ironworks there, so... Really, really well done. It may not be the longest scenario ever, Schnellfahrstrecke, but it's actually the most varied. The most varied one we've had for a little while. And like the scenarios are, hopefully we'll also be able to create our own scenarios in some of the original train mod routes, the German ones, and potentially use the ICE on some of those as well. Thank you for completing this run. Let's see how you performed. And let's see how we did that for our first ever run here in the Train Mod 2 German scenarios. Overall, not looking too bad. There's a few speed limit changes I didn't anticipate and therefore missed those we started coming towards the end, but for the most part, that doesn't seem too bad. I mean, for a service with no route knowledge, I can't complain about that. I really can't. We're level 20 on the character, level 6 on Schnellfahrstrecke Köln, and level 6 on the BR442 Talents 2, which is always good to see. Likewise, if you're interested in the train number for the ICE3M, that's the DBBR 406. So you had the 406 and a 442. So that's that. Took us 29 minutes to complete, 31 kilometers driven, and enough action points to get ourselves a golden medal. Yeah, no complaints with that. That was a more than enjoyable service. And a very good stop at the end there, 0.93 metres to the end of the platform. More accurate some of our Bakerloo Line stopping, to be fair. Well, I think that brings us now to the end of our first mission. So that was Talented Takeover. That was our first run in the Schnellfahrstrecke Köln, and hopefully our first run of many in Train Sim World 2. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Do leave a like if you did enjoy it. Do subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you all very much for the support you've shown recently. And yeah, from tomorrow, we'll take care of the second mission of ICE to meet you. ICE to meet you. You take care and have a good one. Bye bye.